What's up, guys? Pop My Pigs for Life here, and today we're back with another episode of The Future of Hammond's Dream, Season 4 in Jurassic World Evolution 2. So, if you guys remember last episode, we started off by adding a random hodgepodge of prehistoric species, just to start by filling in the gaps. So we added in the Dunkleosteus right in here. I want to see my favorite skin. Where's my favorite? This has got to be my favorite skin out of the three. We also added in several Dimetrodons. Ooh, it looks like they're congregating by a feeder. And we also added in several Ceratosaurus. Let's see, there's one. Ooh, now that's brighter out. Now I can actually see the skins. Okay, not bad. Galaxy Cerato. Not bad. And also not bad. Okay. And then we also did quite a bit of work over on the next section of the park as we built this amazing guest section. And right next to the guest section, we added in this habitat for the Therizinosaurus. We added in quite a couple Therizinosaurus. We added in some Mononykus. And we added in some Oviraptors. Little chickens, as I like to call them. So now, before we move on to the next section of the park, I just wanted to first of all say I hope you all enjoyed your Christmas, for those of you who celebrate Christmas like I do. I know that I had an excellent Christmas, got a bunch of awesome stuff. And so now onto the main order of business. So while I was editing the last episode of The Future of Hammond's Dream, I thought of a couple ways that I could maybe spruce up this exhibit a little bit. So the exhibit itself isn't bad, but it's also not my greatest work. So then I thought of an excellent idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause that just for now. What we're going to do is we're going to flatten this, because what I want to do is I want to make a guest encounter with the Mononykus and the Oviraptors. So I know that these are technically Morus intrepidus, and, well, they're gonna attack the guests, but hypothetically, we're pretending that they're Mononykus, and Mononykus, if you've ever seen Prehistoric Planet, is an insectivore, and they can be seen eating termites. So what I ended up doing is I ended up using a couple of these fallen logs to sort of act like the colonies of termites that the Mononykus would eat. So now what I ended up doing is I ended up taking a picture of a sort of setup that I wanted to do. So from looking at my reference image, what we're gonna do is we're going to take this, we're going to move it right here, and we're going to connect it up right there. Perfect. So then, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this little corner of the exhibit and we're going to separate it from this main enclosure. So the idea is that the Therizinosaurus are going to be confined to just this area, but what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this viewing gallery. We're going to add in the Jurassic Park gate, so that way the guests could hypothetically get into this little area, and that is where the Mononykus and Oviraptor are going to be able to cross into. So they'll be able to go right underneath the log viewing gallery, but the Therizinosaurus can't. So then probably one of the things we're going to do is we're going to add in quite a little bit of path And I actually have an idea for what I want to do with the watering hole. But before we do that, what I'm quickly going to do is, in order to attract guests to go over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a dome viewing gallery. So that way, first of all, guests will be able to, you know, see the dinosaurs. But we'll put the entrance right over here, so that way guests will want to go into this area. And so one other thing that we're gonna do is we're going to get the Jurassic World entrance, not only so that way we get guests, but also this will be sort of like the visitor center sort of for the Mononykus and Oviraptor encounter. This is also where you can get like some food for the animals. Then after that, we're just gonna corner this area off. We're gonna move a couple of the feeders. Like, we'll move this feeder so that way the Mononykus and Oviraptor can tend to stay in this area. And yeah, so then we will pretty much just go from there. So really quickly, as we go into our first time lapse, I'm just gonna quickly refresh myself on how to get the gate onto the path. Alrighty guys, so kicking off the first time lapse of the video by adding in said habitat gate. I managed to figure it out after watching a quick YouTube video. And so one thing I didn't account for is that once you put the gate onto the path, you can't connect more path to the little stretch of path that the gate is attached to. Feel free to comment down below how many times I use the word path in that one sentence. And so as you can see, adding in the habitat fence so that way the Therizinosaurus cannot get in. And then after that, I decided to just delete everything so that way we could start with a blank canvas. There is nothing quite like starting with that blank canvas with some new, fresh ideas. So one of those fresh ideas involves having a little circle of path and then in the middle putting the water, sort of like a little bit of an oasis. And now, as you can see, adding in those fallen logs all throughout the enclosure, not just by the feeder. And so once all that's done, then we can start by adding back the terrain, which I had previously flattened out, and then as well as adding in the rocks, which you will see is going to be a common theme in this video. There we go. Already, that looks light years ahead of how it originally looked. It just looks so much more interesting now that you've got like this little area. And again, the idea is we're pretending that the Mononykus, these little guys, instead of eating from this, they eat from the various fallen logs around here. And also, as sort of like a natural barrier for the Oviraptors and Mononykus, I added these rocks here, so that way, because they tend not to want to go in the water, so because of that, they sort of like stick to this area, and they can't go around it because the rocks are in the way, but the Theris can, which is awesome. This looks so much better than it did earlier, and I am just really happy about that. Alright, so now that that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the main order of business for the video, and that is, we're going to finish up the park. So, what we're going to do is to start, I think, let's start from over here where we last left off, and we're going to go all the way around. So, to start, we're going to add the Achillobator right in here. Then we're going to do a small guest section. Then we're going to add in the Tarbosaurus right over here. Then we're going to add in Deinocheirus, Homalocephale, and Gallimimus. And after thinking about it, what I might do is I might add in a really small guest section over here. So, I think the best place to start is with the Achillobator enclosure. So, right over here we have the viewing platform looking into it. So what I think I'm gonna do is I like the idea of having one viewing platform, not there. Don't want it to raise up the terrain, right there. And then let's really ramp up the durability of the fence. And then what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna add in these. Okay, and so I just want to check really quickly. Okay, actually, we can fit large amenities. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So, yeah. So, now all we have to do is we're going to connect up the enclosure, and we are going to add in the Achillobators. Alright guys, so as we are building this enclosure, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you are enjoying this video so far, then please make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this one. Throughout 2024, we have grown so much as a channel, and because of that, I have all of you guys to thank for that. Again, just by taking the time out of your day to click on my video and watch it is showing me so much support, and because of that, I am so incredibly grateful for all the support that you have shown me throughout 2024. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. Alrighty, so we have everything pretty much all connected up. Oh, we can get rid of this little bit of fence. Yeah, so we have everything pretty much all connected up in terms of the enclosure. So now all we have left to do is just add in the Achillobators. So I think that for this one, we're not going to do the humble trait, because that is quite a bit of space that we have there. So ready, favorite, favorites only. One male, female, female, male, female. Okay, so we have 2 males and 4 females, it looks like. You know what? Now we have 3 females. 2 males, 3 females. Love that for us. Alrighty, and all we have left to do is just airlift them. One thing I might honestly do is honestly I may even add in a hatchery right here. Achillobator still haven't gotten here yet. That's fine. Okay. So, now all we have left is... Ooh, let's... There we go. So, we're first gonna connect this up like here. Now, I've tested this, and from what I remember, as long as we put the humble trait on the Tarbosaurus, then we should have enough room. Ah, perfect. It appears that they've arrived. And they have so much space. So, let's do a nice little, thing of water over here. And then let's do the same thing that we sort of did with the Deinocheirus, Oviraptor, and Mononykus enclosure. Let's make it a little bit more hilly. Let's put a couple goat feeders, and let's put them sort of along the fence line. There we go. And then hear me out, guys. I'm thinking, why don't we put the Achillobators in here? Why don't we put the Tarbosaurus in here? Okay, yeah, you know what? Let's give it a shot. What we're gonna do is we're gonna finish this enclosure, and then we're gonna move the Achillobators into here. I've decided. There we go. And then also, yes, hang on. Idea. Boom. And then, what we can then do, get rid of this, and we could put a well-needed, wait for it, well-needed response facility right there. And then, you know what, okay, yeah, I was gonna say, we cannot fit that there. Okay, that's fine. But we did this, which is awesome. Love that for us. Alright, now please tell me. Okay, you know what? We're gonna make this work. If it's the last thing I do. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That is awesome. Look at that! Look at that! It's so clean! Ooh, I love this. Let's just try this. See if it works. If it doesn't work, then... well, yeah, okay. So... right over here. Let's... no, let's not do that. Hang on. And then how's visibility? Okay, they can see the dinosaurs pretty well. So, saying that, let's do this. Carnivore feeder there, and then let's put the goat feeder like here, and then here, and that's perfect. Okay, there we go. Love that. Maybe we'll add in, like, a couple more. You know what? That's actually perfect. Let's do 3 more. Because then we have 4 males, 4 females. Excellent. Also, how are these guys doing? Oh, look at all of them. They're all, like, in here. This is awesome. But they're also, like, still, like, going throughout. Wow, they're like all over here. That's insane. And the fairies, they still have plenty of room. I love that. Let's release. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, yeah, so they're going all throughout this enclosure. Climbing the mountains. Oh yeah, we need to add rocks. Lots of rocks, actually. That looks excellent. I love that for us. Also, you know what? I'm making an executive decision. We are going to add in a dome viewing gallery. No, wrong dome. We are going to add... where is it? Perfect, dome viewing gallery. We can add it, like, right here. Perfect. That looks great. Alright, so now what I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to add in the Tarbosaurus, and I think, just to play it safe, let's add the humble trait. Random. What are the odds we get the Cretaceous skin? Called it! I totally called that. Wow. I totally called that. That's insane. Wow. Okay, and then after this, we will, get to, configuring this area over here. Alright, perfect. Let's, at least via airlift, plop them down right in there. And yeah, so these are fairly big dinosaurs, so their enclosure is gonna need to be fairly big. So, let's start with this. Alright, this is the Camp Cretaceous skin. How do you like it? Let's take a look at the other skin. Ooh, okay. Not bad. Not bad indeed. Again, we'll get a better view when it lands. For now, let's do this. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, they need sand. Let's see. Oh, that's actually pretty good skin. And then, what we do is, let's add in yeah, no, let's do another dome. Right there. Right there. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. How are they doing now? Okay, they still have plenty of space. So this is fine. Okay, and so just checking over here. Everything's still good? Perfect. And then here, everything is still good? Yep, for now. Okay. So I think for now, let's worry about getting in our last exhibit. Alright guys, so starting off this time-lapse by adding in that first little viewing platform, and that will sort of act as the starting point for building the enclosure. So one thing that I'm quickly doing is just setting up the path so that way we can put in a couple of amenities. And then after that, we get on to building the enclosure itself. So one thing I definitely struggled with was getting the fence to line up perfectly with the tour track, because it kept, like, doing all these, like, crazy things, like trying to attach to the edge of the tour track, and, like, it was just acting all funky and crazy, and yeah, making my life a little bit harder. But now, as you can see, what we're doing is we are working on that mini guest section, so that way guests can actually look into the entirety of the enclosure. So one thing that you'll see in a second that I ended up doing is, yes, I did add in the, like, essentials, so, like, amenities and, like, viewing galleries, but I also added some viewing opportunities from the hotels, as well as various other remote viewing galleries. And so here you can see that I'm kind of working on this area in its entirety, so not just with the facilities, but I also did a little bit of adding some decorations. So since these are all herbivores in this enclosure, the fence doesn't necessarily need to be as like high grade as with the carnivore enclosures, so because that we were able to use a slightly weaker fence, and so you can see right here adding in a little bit more path, much like I did with the other guest section near the Tarbosaurus and Achillobators. But then I also went ahead and added a couple of decorations, mainly fountains. And then here's where you can see I sort of struggled, and I didn't just struggle with this habitat, but I also struggled with the Tarbosaurus habitat. So at times I even had to delete the tour track so that way I can put the fence without enduring some of those challenges. And then after that, it's pretty much just editing the environment of the enclosure. So I wanted that massive marshland, that massive lake for the Deinocheirus, but I also wanted to incorporate some of the hills, and of course adding in tons and tons of foliage. Also, again, decide to add in a fair share of rocks, and then you'll see in just a little while that not only am I adding some foliage to the habitat itself, but I also went ahead and added some foliage in the little pockets around the guest sections, which you can see that I'm doing now. And so here we are getting into the decorating part of this mini guest section. There isn't a whole lot I can do in terms of the decorations, but I just placed some wherever I saw fit. And then right here, just making sure to sneak in this little shelter so that way we can get that shelter coverage to 100%. Alright guys, so this is the setup we've got so far. This mini guest section is pretty much finished other than customizing the amenities. And then for this guest section, I didn't want to do anything too extreme just yet on the off chance that we need to add more amenities, which, speaking of how our amenity coverage is good, restroom coverage is good, shelter coverage is good. Okay. So, now it's time that we add in our final dinosaurs. So, for the Deinocheirus, for now, we're just gonna do one batch of Deinocheirus. And you know what? We don't need the humble trait. We're gonna do one batch of Deinocheirus. And then we'll start with one batch of Gallimimus and Homalocephale. And if we can tolerate more, then we'll get more. Ooh, it appears one has found the watering hole, but it's all by himself. So, yeah, we're gonna need to get more. So let's do, like, one more batch of each. And then, you know what, also? Yeah, you know what, executive decision time. I feel like it was kind of inevitable that they were gonna need it. And then let's also add a little bit of ground fiber because that's what the Homalocephale need. Yeah, this is perfect. Let's take a look at these skins. Okay. We got a green boy. Ooh, I like that one. And another yellowish green one. Not gonna lie, this kind of looks like Big Bird. You know what? Big Bird. That's Big Bird. Normally, I don't name the dinosaurs, but Big Bird. Like, I kind of had to. Alright guys, so in the end, I decided on adding 4 batches of both Gallimimus and Homalocephale, so that means there are 40 of each species. Obviously, I kept just 4 Deinocheirus, and as you can see, what I'm doing right now is I was able to sneak in a zipline between the 2 guest sections that we built in this episode,
And so because I had to rearrange some of the buildings, what I ended up having to do was reconfigure this guest section a little bit. So you saw earlier that I was able to move the restroom by the larger guest section, and that was able to fit perfectly between the small amenity and the path. And so then for this tiny guest section, I was able to sort of figure out something that worked. I did have a little bit of difficulty with placing the fence because the Homalocephales and Gallimimus got in the way. And so now we're moving on to decorating. So as you can see, I am decorating the smaller guest section, and now we are able to move on to the larger guest section. So towards the end, I did lose a tiny bit of steam, especially because I was having some issues with the Gallimimus and Homalocephale, but I did sort of pick myself back up afterwards, and as you can see, I'm sort of going back to basics, you know, with the path art, as well as adding in loads of fountains and seating. Honestly, those are the two big things, are fountains and seating, though I did mix it up just like I had with the other guest sections. So as you see right here, I am adding some of the Jurassic World flags to touch it up a little bit, adding in a little amber thing near the Allosaurus skeleton, and then over here I had some room to place the When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth banner, as well as not one, but two fountains. I also went back to that one area and added some little amber pedestals in between, and it looked super good. Again, emphasis on the seating, and yeah, so just honestly seeing what looks best in each area, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Did a little bit of work on the enclosures, and basically I finished off this time lapse by customizing the buildings.
Alright guys, so all in all, I'm really happy with how these two guest sections turn out. Yes, I did lose some steam, but they turned out to look really good in the end. As you can see, I have configured each and every one of the amenities, and I've made them look different, which also adds a load of character to the area. And then also, one thing I sort of did off camera is I added in this little natural barrier to the area. So the idea is that we're going to pretend that the Gallimimus and the Deinocheirus can easily just hop over the logs and the rocks, and even the Homalocephale can just squeeze through the logs. I mean, obviously they can't because the hitbox of the fallen logs is too big, but you know what, we're just gonna pretend that they can. As you can see, the Deinocheirus still come over here, and again, so this is all just an illusion that all the animals can go throughout this entire habitat if they want, but in reality this is just a natural barrier. So as you can see, as a result, I added in quite a load of watering holes, like little oases, throughout this part of the enclosure. And then as a result, I decided to turn this area into more of a swamp. So I added in a load of ground leaf all throughout the edge of the water. I added in this little island so that way the Gallimimus that are in this area would have plenty of open space. And the Deinocheirus still have plenty of stuff. So yeah, so we got quite a lot done in this episode. So we started by making some improvements to the enclosure that we made last episode. And that already looks so much better. On top of that, we added in so many different dinosaurs. We added in the Tarbosaurus over here. We added in the Achillobators. right over here. And we also added in loads of different herbivores from the Nemeg Formation, such as the Homalocephale, the Gallimimus, as well as the Deinocheirus. So yeah, so that is likely going to be the last video that I upload of 2024, because I have quite a bit of scholarship stuff that I need to catch up on. So because of that, I wanted to wish everyone a very happy new year. I want to once again thank you all for the overwhelming support you have shown throughout 2024. And what we're gonna do is we're going to kick off the new year with the final tour of Jurassic Park Grand Canyon. Then we're going to do another episode of Conservation Carnival, and then we're going to move on to the Future of Hammond Dreams Season 5. So yeah, with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's video. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see some more Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 2 content. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.